Okay, so this weekend I'm going to try and fix up the rear suspension. On the rear it's got leaf springs. Somebody in their wisdom has decided to put a block of rubber on top of the leaf springs so the rear wheels can't move, and it's a pretty jolty ride. It's a C20, and I suppose that's how they get the C20 rating, but I don't actually tow anything or have anything heavy in the back, so I'm going to try and remove those airbags. One good thing about owning a truck like this is you can get underneath and work on it, and it's completely safe so long as all four wheels are on the ground. Plenty of room under there. Okay, so this is looking underneath the truck, and that's the airbag there. So it hooks around the bottom. The bottom of it's on a bracket, that bracket there, at the top of the screen, and that's got a U clamp, and so that's how it bolts to the bottom. And the airbag, on top of the airbag there is another bracket that bolts in the side of the outside of the frame there. So that's the leaf spring, and it travels up, but it can't travel up, it can't move properly because it's got that airbag there in the way, and so there's pretty hard suspension on the back. It'd be okay if there was a lot of weight, then you know, the vehicle would be travelling properly, but without tremendous weight in the back or towing, it's a very rough ride. Okay, so the frame's been jacked up a little bit. You can see there that the airbag has expanded. So look, I think if I undo these nuts here with the U-clamp and the bracket on top, I'd say that once the airbag's back to normal, it's just going to slip out in between the leaf springs there and that ridge going across there. So that's the back of the rear mudguard well there. Incidentally, it's got a fair amount of rust, and I've got to treat that. But I suppose that's besides the point with the airbag. What I'll do now is, just undo those nuts and the bracket on top, and I'll have to remove the wheel, and I should be able to remove it out that gap there. So I'll let the jack down, the bottle jack. It's amazing working on these trucks. I can actually sit up and lean against the diff. So got plenty of space. So just working these loose. Okay, the rear bracket's off, and I'll just remove that one now. Just for reference, the bottom bracket sits right over central to the leaf spring bracket, so it's just about centered directly over the leaf spring bracket. Okay, the bottom bracket's got the bolts out, and on top here, the 4 bolts I'll undo for the top bracket. They're 9/16, but a 14mm socket will do it. Okay, around the other side here, and it's the same situation. 9/16. Just break the thread loose and get the nut off. So with the bracket off, or the airbag off, you can see that the leaf springs are now able to function properly. So the bottom leaf spring is no longer compressed up against the rest of the springs. So looks very hopeful for a more comfortable ride. Okay, well, you can see that the airbag's now free of the body, so it's just a matter of taking the wheel off, jacking it up and getting it through that gap there. Okay, it's the 12th of the 3rd, 2017. Okay, so that's the airbag there, and should just be able to get that straight out. Okay, it's got a line going into it. I suppose that's the line used to pump the airbag up. Okay, so there it is, and it just routes around behind the other side of the frame there, goes through at this point at the back. There's the bumper, so just back from the bumper and it mounts there. So anyone wanting to do the reverse of the work I'm doing now, that's actually mounted on a tow bar. There wouldn't be a standard tow bar. They removed the spare wheel to put the tow bar in, I suspect. So what have we got here? The only information I can get from this is manufactured by Valley Industries. Unfortunately, some of the information is missing. It's got a number 3968 02 235 or 285 3968 02 385. It's just got a plastic tie around it, and I'll probably go through there, through the hole. We've got air lift. There's air lift there, and the numbers are 5813. Just be careful when handling these things. I think there's got a sharp edge somewhere. There's actually more flex than I thought. It does move, but you can imagine having two of these, that it'd be twice as hard to move it, but that's what you're looking at for one, and there's not as much travel as there would be with it removed. I'd like to introduce you to my friend. We've been sitting together while I've been having some food, and I've given him a little snack, and there he is. Okay, so that's the system I've found is probably the best way, is to have a jack and just lift up the axle. That gets your tyre up off the ground, and I've got this jack going up to the frame, runs along, and that's resting on the bottom of that, and that pushes the body up, and you get the clearance. But I recommend using bricks. Probably the best thing to do would be to get a sleeper, a thicker one than that, and just cut it up into blocks around about that size there, and just put them one on top of each other, and that's probably the safest way. I'm thinking on the other side, I'm probably going to get the other airbag off with the wheel removed, working from the outside. So if you've seen enough, well, I can understand that, but if you want to stick around, I'll show you getting the other airbag off, and but this time I'll work from the outside of the car. But while the wheel's off, I've got to treat this, just this particular side. Rust has formed on the outside of the, or the inside of the mudguard. Probably going to no doubt see it better looking underneath along there. Now I've got off the topic a little bit. However, it is important to keep rust under control, and what I've done is I've just brushed on a neutralising agent, and that needs a couple of days to work. Needs to dry out, and then you paint it with rust paint. It's called a rust converter. Don't forget to chock your wheels. Find bricks to work fairly well. Okay, so we've been working on the other side, and so the airbag is still on this side. It's actually 20 millimeters lower on this side with the airbag. So we'll get the airbag off this side and see if it sits up higher. If it sits up higher, obviously, then the airbag is bringing it down, because it's tied to the frame. So yeah, 130 millimeters on the other side, and 110 on this side. Okay, I think this is the best way. So the wheels just up off the ground. We can lift the frame up, take the wheel off. If you ever get a flat and you can't get the nuts off, then just put your weight on, just step on it. Okay, so then now we've got full access to all the nuts and bolts. Okay, at this stage I've just jacked it up until the airbag is free of the frame. Anyone installing or putting on these airbags, so that's your height there. I'd say to be about 20mm up off the frame, the first one, but it's fairly close to the bottom of the frame. The rear one's further up. Geez, about 30mm is a guess. Got the old spanner on the other side trick. Okay, that's it. Removing airbags from a C20. I hope you found this entertaining. Please like and subscribe.